Hello, my pretties. This is episode 394 of Shadows and Pretties, and today we are going to look at the 2007 Halloween remake. So basically, this is a Rob Zombie film, as this is one of Rob Zombie's films that he's made, which is he also made the sequel remake to it. So the Halloween 2007 movie is a remake to the original Halloween movie. And I do have to say, I thought this remake was actually alright. I didn't think it was that bad or anything. I know some people may not like it, but I didn't really think it was that bad at all. I personally thought it was really neat. So, the last Halloween movie we reviewed was Halloween Resurrection, which, of course, was another movie that we did review in a previous episode. So I'm going to talk about the plot for the remake or the Rob Zombie Halloween movie for any of you guys who have not have seen this movie, and for those who have not seen it in a while. Let's begin. So basically, the plot takes place on Halloween of 1990 in Haddonville, Illinois. Having already exhibited signs of psychopathic tendencies, a 10-year-old boy, Michael Myers, murders his school bully, Wesley Rhodes, and his older sister, Judith, her boyfriend, Steve Haley, and his abusive stepfather, Ronnie White. He only spares as his baby sister, which he nicknamed Boo. After one of his longest trails within the state history, Michael is found guilty of the first-degree murder and is sent to Smith Grove Sanatorium under the care of child psychologist Dr. Samuel Loomis. Michael intentionally cooperates with Loomis and his mother, Deborah, who he loves dearly, and he still visits him regularly. Over the few years, Michael begins to dissociate and fixates on his papier-mâché mask, withdrawing from people around him, even with his mother. When Michael ends up killing a nurse as Deborah is leaving from one of her visits, she is unable to handle the situation and takes her own life. So for the next 15 years, Michael continues making his masks and not speaking to people. Loomis, having continued to treat Michael over the years, attempts to move forward with his life and chooses Michael's case. Later, Michael escapes from Smith's Grove, killing the guards and the hospital staff in the process. He then kills a truck driver and takes his clothes and makes his way back to his hometown in Haddonfield. On the day of Halloween, Michael then arrives at his now abandoned childhood home, where he recovers the kitchen knife and a Halloween mask stored underneath the floorboards the night he killed his family. So Laurie Strode and her friends, Annie Brackett and Linda Van Der Klook, prepare for Halloween. So throughout the day, Laurie witnessed Michael watching her from a distance, and later that night, Linda meets up with her boyfriend, Bob Sims, at Michael's abandoned home. Michael later reappears and murders them, and then he heads to the Strode home, where, while Laurie was babysitting Tommy Doyle, he murders her parents, Mason and Cynthia. Dr. Loomis, having to be alerted of Michael's escape, drives to Haddonfield in search for Michael. So after obtaining the handgun, Loomis attempts to warn Sheriff Lay about Brackett about Michael. Loomis and Brackett rushed over to the Strode home, with Brackett explaining to him that Laurie is really Michael's baby sister. After being adopted by the Strodes after their late mother's death, after convincing Laurie to babysit Lindsay Wallace while spending time with her boyfriend Paul, Annie gets attacked by Michael after he kills Paul at the Wallace residence, bringing Lindsay home, and Laurie finds Annie badly injured on the floor, but still alive, and calls for help. Michael attacks Laurie, chasing her down the street and back to the Doyle residence. Loomis and Brackett hear the calls over the radio and heads towards the Wallace residence. Michael kidnaps Laurie and takes her back to their old home. He tries to show Laurie that she is his sister, presenting a picture of them both together. Unable to understand, Laurie stabs Michael in the neck before escaping the house. Michael chases after her, but Loomis arrives and shoots him 3 times. So while recovering, Michael recaptures Laurie and heads back to the house. Loomis intervenes, but Michael subdues him by by gouging out his eyes, and Lori takes the gun and runs upstairs, where she hides inside the walls. Michael corners her on the balcony and charges at her head on, knocking both of them to the side of the railing. Lori awakens on the top of the unconscious Michael and aims the gun at his face, with Michael's hand grabbing her wrist, and just as the gun fired, Lori drops the gun and starts screaming manically as the police sirens are heard in the distance. That's how the movie ends. So, of course, I do have to really say is that this is actually a pretty interesting, really well done remake. I mean, I personally don't mind remakes of, certain, movies or anything like that, as long as there's like a good plot to it and as long as it looks pretty good from, trailers and that. But I definitely do have to say is that this is actually quite interesting, that I really do enjoy a whole lot. I thought it was a really neat, well done remake of the original Halloween movie, which I mean, I definitely do have to say is that this is a really great film. I personally really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good and well done. So I definitely do have to say is that Halloween, the Rob Zombie film, was pretty good, just like the original. I know that's got different actors playing the characters, not like the original, because some of them died, some of them retired, and stuff like that. But the remake of it actually really fits out really nicely, and it really helps out with the scare factor. And I personally really thought this was a really interesting film. I mean, the gore was really nice. I definitely do like, some of the gory scenes. They actually were pretty epic. And I do have to say is that this is actually one of the best films that I've seen that are really good. Now, I definitely do recommend Rob Zombie's Halloween movie. If you've not seen it yet, then you definitely have to sit there and see it, because it's just a really good movie. You guys will not be disappointed once you see it. So, I guess with that being said, and with that being the case, I'm going to sit here and say this right now, that, if you're into horror and into Rob Zombie, I definitely recommend this movie. So, with that being said, and that being the case, you could find this movie, I believe, on shelves at video stores and stuff like that. Like, you definitely do need to add this to your collection. If you're a fan of the Halloween movies, you definitely will really enjoy this. If you really enjoy, horror movies in general, you definitely would really enjoy this. So, I guess with that being the case, and with that being said, like I'm always gonna say, this is just simply my own personal opinion, and if you happen to disagree with it, that's perfectly fine too. We're all entitled to our own opinions in regards to these movies. This is just simply my own personal thoughts. Now, anyways, what did you guys personally think of this movie? Did you enjoy it? Did you not? Also, what you have done personally to help make this movie a lot better? Feel free to let me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section down below. I'm Shadow the Lion Queen. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and if you're new to my channel, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you're new. Ring the bell for notifications to when I upload, so that way you guys will not miss an upload. As always, if you guys want to go follow me on Twitter, follow me on Blue Sky, follow me on DeviantArt, follow me on my backup channel known as Miss Dark Shigo, as links to those will be in the About page section, so you guys can go follow me on there if you like. And as always, I will be catching you guys all in the next video. Peace out, and like always, I'll see you all next time.